What up? How's it going? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, because if the paranormal is something you enjoy, then this is a place for you. In this video, I have made a compilation of some of my favorite scary legends and stories from Japan. The ones I've talked about on this channel so far anyway. Make sure to subscribe for many more to come, not only from Japan, but from across the globe. Enjoy the video.
So the story talks about a teacher who tells his students a story, actually a bunch of horrific stories, all about this thing known as the cowhead. Some people call it like something else, but I'm just gonna call it cowhead because that's like one of the names. The students beg him to stop. Like, please stop, I cannot take this anymore. They were begging him. And it was in a way that it like seemed like it was like something that was hurting them physically. He kept on going though. And they were like, please, they all look frightened as it genuinely looked like they were about to have a heart attack or something. And he could not stop, even though he tried. Isn't that really freaky? As the stories got more and more chilling, all of the students suddenly collapsed. They were comatose, and so was the teacher. It is said that the ones who woke up can absolutely not remember the tale, and those who can are still in a coma to this very day. Now, the origins of this tale is unknown. However, there's always theories and all that stuff. Nobody really knows what the story really is. People have spent like a long time just like looking for it everywhere, especially people who love the paranormal like we do. But nobody has ever been successful in finding it. There are some out there, of course. They're said to be the original, but who knows? I don't believe that. People put a lot of fake stuff on the internet all the time. So funayurei is the term used to describe a ghost ship. So this ghost ship is made up of people who have died at sea. Those who never found peace, the ones that can't move on, you know, they eventually become part of this funayurei thing. Yes, the ghost, the spirit of a human, will turn into this thing after a while of just being very angry because they cannot accept that they died. So that's when they become part of this funayurei ghost ship. It's hard to explain because it's like, it's the ship, but it's also the ghost, like the spirit. You know, lots of spirits who died at sea and couldn't accept that they died. These are the shades of drowned sailors which still remain in this world. They usually haunt people they used to know, maybe sailor friends, I don't know. Usually someone who escaped death when they didn't. Let's say a ship sunk and there were like lots of people and some of them died, some of them survived. So the funayurei ghost, they will go after those who survived, most likely. It will haunt the hell out of them, and it will do everything in its power to kill everybody on the ship. The funayurei ship is usually said to be seen at like night on foggy nights and stormy nights. So let's say you're at sea and you see this mysterious ship far away, and the second you lay eyes on this thing, it's like it hypnotizes you. But you also feel like something's not right, because it's not. You notice the ship getting closer and closer, and then a bunch of ghosts will come out of it, go to your ship, and try and sink it. And they always succeed. Well, not always, but 99% of the time. And people believe that ships that just go missing and sink, they were attacked by the funayurei ship. And the funayurei has numerous souls. And the ghosts who kill you or who want to kill you, they want to try and get you to become part of the funayurei ship, the ghost ship. But that doesn't mean that you will, like if they kill you. Some spirits will move on. They will also lure you into dangerous situations. That is, of course, if they don't attack your ship by getting on it and fighting you and everybody. They'll carry buckets with water and throw it all over the ship, like really fast and supernatural way, of course. And believe it or not, that makes the ship sink, because it's not like something, they're not human, right? They're ghosts. So yeah, I know it sounds like weird. How can a ship sink with like buckets of water? But they do that. But there's a way to avoid getting attacked. So all you have to do is pretend the thing is not there. So you see the funayurei ghost ship from far away, and all you have to do is pretend the thing is not there, you know. And instead of turning the ship around, your ship, to get away from the thing because the thing's coming right at you, right? So instead of turning around, you just keep going and you go right through it. That's the way of escaping. But that's also risky because what if it's a real ship? Then that could be messy because, you know. If you turn around though to try and escape the thing, that's when you'll see it right in front of your ship again, like that, because that kind of gives them power and it shows them that you saw it. And so if you see it, you give them power to attack you. So just ignore it, don't turn around, and that's the risk you're gonna have to take. So yeah, some people also believe that you can just throw rice balls, flowers, and incense into the sea, and that will stop them from attacking you. Their whole goal is to sink your ship so that you can join their ship for eternity as a ghost. And they will do everything in their power to do so. So, be careful. So one of the versions of this legend says that this woman, known as Yuki Onna, was a pregnant woman who was out in the snow and froze to death, which is why she's said to appear to people holding a baby in her arms. However, don't let her fool you. She comes in many, many forms, depending on who she's approaching. So you see what you need to see, and she knows what can trick you and what can't. So that's why she comes in many, many different forms. She's said to trick people to steal their souls, especially men. If you live in a more calm area, you're more likely to see her, but only if it snows where you live, of course, since she gets all her power from the snow. Just like Bloody Mary, she can only appear in mirrors, because that's her power source. She's trapped in mirrors in the mirror world. Yuki Onna is trapped in the snow world. Should I put it that way? I don't know. I hope you know what I mean. She will come into your room in the middle of the night, kiss you, and turn you into a snow sculpture, which kind of reminds me of Medusa a lot. I know, she turns you into rock, but still, it's pretty similar. So legend has it, when she was alive, she was just walking out in the snow, she was pregnant, and got too tired. It was like a storm outside. So unfortunately, she froze to death, which is very sad. There's also a version that says she's actually a moon goddess. She was a moon goddess. Some people say princess. And she came to Earth to see the snow. When she tried to go back home to the moon, she didn't know how to. So she's been trapped here ever since. She gets more and more frustrated over the years, which is why she takes it out on people. Her goal is to kill as many people as she can and take their souls, because that keeps her warm until the next winter. She usually goes up to men, asking them to hold her baby, and if they do, that's when the baby will become so heavy to the point where they can't move, and that's how they freeze to death. So she basically paralyzes them, just leaves them there to die, and that's what she does. What do you guys think of this legend? Have you ever heard of it before? Okay, so audio ghosts are one of the most vengeful ghosts you'll ever come across. How does a ghost become an audio ghost? Well, they have to have a really brutal death, or something that they were either betrayed by someone they really loved. Maybe they killed themselves because someone like they really love betrayed them, or maybe this person killed them. It doesn't matter, it's just something that like wasn't expected, a death that was not expected. Even if they themselves and it was because of someone, then maybe that could lead the ghost to become an audio ghost. Just summarize, it's just like a person who had a very brutal death. Brutal, traumatic, and stuff like that. Something that wasn't expected. For instance, someone found something out like about the person they love. Let's say someone was cheating on them, like their boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. And this person who found out about this whole thing, they just, in the heat of the moment, take their own lives. That's just an example. I don't know how to explain, but, you know, it's just like something that was not planned. It's just like people who died and cannot accept that they died. And they're just pissed, they want revenge. Yeah, that would be a better explanation, just like someone who wants revenge. But the thing is, it starts with them wanting revenge on the person who did them wrong, but then it grows more and more each day until they become this super vengeful, dangerous spirit who will just kill anybody that comes their way, no matter who. They don't care. Eventually, as the days pass, as the years pass, the ghost just becomes this thing that has only murder on their minds. And examples of audio ghosts would be Samara Morgan or Sadako, that girl from The Grudge, a lot of like ghosts we see in movies. I just can't think of them right now, but like lots of ghosts we see in movies, especially if they're wearing like white clothing, because that's typical of audio ghosts. They wear white clothing. If it's a female, they're usually wearing this white dress, gown thing. So like I said, as the days pass, these ghosts become more and more vengeful. And when they kill someone, it's not just like a normal death. I mean, it wouldn't be normal either way, but they make it bloody. They want blood. If they kill someone, there's a lot of blood. And they're powerful enough to do that. So if you come across one of those, let's say if you move into this house and there's an audio ghost there, right? They will torment the victim days and days, sometimes weeks, before actually killing them. And that's fun, which is so scary. They will not only kill you in a brutal way, but they will also torment to drive you completely insane before they do so. So yeah, I would never want to bump into one of those, for sure. So when a spirit becomes an audio ghost, it's usually because of love and betrayal, like I said. So they start out by haunting the ones they loved, the ones who betray them, and then killing them, and that's when they move on to the next victims. The more they kill, the stronger they get, and the more blood they want. So, just a little disclaimer before we move forward. You will not get cursed if you hear the story. The one that's reading it out loud is the one who's supposed to get cursed. But again, I don't believe this shit, so let's get started. Okay, I'm looking down because I'm looking at my computer. As always, I'm filming with my phone again. So yeah, the little finger is a very dangerous game. You may want to think twice before playing it. To play this game, there's no complicated ritual to perform, no candles to light, and no strange chants to repeat. All you have to do is read the following story. I got scared of my own fucking shadow. Important note, if you don't want to play this game, stop reading. Ooh. This is the story of a dream. In the dream, you're standing by a riverbank. A thick fog hangs over everything. You see an old woman crouched next to a gate. What are you looking for, you ask. The old woman turns around. I'm getting chills, I'm sorry. The old woman turns around and says, I'm looking for a little finger. She holds out her left hand, and sure enough, the little finger is missing. Can you help me look for it? You have to say yes. And when you do, the search for the finger begins. You must find her little finger, because if you don't, you will never be able to wake up ever again. Now that you have read the story, you will have the dream within the next 7 days. They always say 7 days for stuff. So there are different versions for this particular urban legend. A lot of versions, actually. There's even a movie inspired by it. That movie totally freaks me out, by the way. I think it's called One Last Call. I think so. I don't remember, but I'm gonna just like put it right here. Watch that movie. I just cannot deal with the idea of hearing myself dying. Like before I die. Like, yikes, that's so freaky. There's actually 2 movies. There's the Japanese version and the Western version, of course. Both of them very freaky, so yeah, check it out. So there's this doll named Mary-san, or Mary-chan, like I said. I don't know how to pronounce it. And it was a very popular doll in Japan, like back in the day, of course. I think it still might be, I'm not sure. It was just like Barbie, let's put it that way, but the Japanese version of it. So once upon a time, this doll belonged to this little girl who absolutely loved her. They were like best friends. But as time passed, the girl played less and less with her. She was growing up, of course. And then it came to a point where she didn't play with her at all. She completely forgot all about her. So it was time for her to move out of her parents' house. She got her own place. She was like grown up already. And she left all of her old like toys, everything at her house. Her childhood home, including Mary's son. So some time passed, new people moved into the house, her childhood home, where all her old stuff was at. So these people threw everything out, of course. They didn't want no junk in their new house from people they don't even know. So one night, she was at her new place and the phone rang. She picks up, and on the other side, a voice says, "Hello, I'm Mary. I'm in a trash can right now." The girl freaks out and hangs up. She keeps getting phone calls from the same number, and each time the thing, the person or whatever is telling her they're closer and closer to where she is. Like, "Hi, I'm Mary. I'm right down the street." And it goes on, and then she says, "Hi, I'm Mary. I'm outside." And the girl goes outside, like she opens the door and she looks and there's nobody there, and she's like, "Oh shit." You know? So she goes back inside, and then she doesn't get a call for a while, and then she gets one last call that says, "Hi, I'm Mary. I'm right behind you." So she turns around, and guess what? Some versions will say that it was a doll. Some versions will say that it was just like a pale girl that looked like the doll. Maybe it was like a spirit that was possessing the doll. I'm not sure, but yeah, there are a lot of versions to this. And what happened to the girl? Nobody really knows. But to this very day, people in Japan, they're like terrified of this doll. And I bet they're pretty scared of getting like phone calls from unknown numbers as well. Like, I hardly pick up if I don't know who's calling me. I'm not gonna pick up. So yeah, the movie goes like this. It's a little different. I'm gonna talk about the one in I think it's from the United States. I don't know. I'm gonna talk about that one, or maybe Canada. I'm not sure. It's just the English version of it. So the movie's a little different. It talks about this, like, it's kind of like a virus or whatever. I really don't remember. I watched it like years ago. I'm just gonna like tell you a little bit about the movie, so you want to watch it. I don't know. But let's say I have your number and I get this call. I'm cursed, and then after I die, everyone, I don't know if it's everyone on my phone, like on my contacts, they're gonna get the same call and they're gonna die too within days. I don't know if it's within days. I don't remember, like I said. But it's really freaky because you get this phone call and then you hear yourself dying, and it's just like really creepy in my opinion. So the no mask, I think that's how you pronounce it, is a very creepy looking Asian mask. People in Japan used to wear it during like opera performances. It's incredibly expensive, and I'm not really sure if they still like wear this mask, but I do know rich people keep these masks as like a decor. They hang it up on the wall, and so people believe it'll like scare away evil spirits. These masks are said to be incredibly dangerous because it will absorb the impure thoughts and like bad negative energy of whoever is wearing it. Kind of like your shadow self, and eventually the person will start acting just completely different in a sinister, dark way, as if they were like possessed. It's like the mask will slowly suck their soul, like your soul, out of your body, or just like whoever's wearing it, of course, until there's nothing but a rotting body. It will make your body deteriorate slowly, and it will also create an entity of its own using your energy, like your negative energy, your shadow self. So after the owner dies, it'll move on to the next victim, but it will not leave the body, like the dead body, behind. It will actually attach it to the new one, which is kind of gross, kind of like very morbid. So yeah, yikes. If you see these masks, just like don't even touch them because they're incredibly dangerous. Just like looking at them is said to affect you. And nobody really knows why they're so cursed. And there have been reports of people who wore this mask just going like, not insane, I wouldn't say insane, but they just started acting completely different, like they were not themselves. And it is sad that if you look into their eyes, like the mask's eyes, it is like it follows you wherever you go. Like there really is a presence within the mask. How creepy is that? I love Japan. The older the mask, the stronger it is. So the older the mask, the faster the person will die. There's lots and lots of different types of masks. Like no masks, I cannot pronounce that. It's N-O-H. Like, do you see right here. But they're all said to be incredibly dangerous. There's no exception. Like I said, some people say you don't even have to wear the mask for it to affect you. I know there's a belief that if you hang it up on the wall, it'll like scare away evil spirits. There's also the belief that if you do that, if you just keep it in your house, it will slowly drive you freaking crazy, mad, insane, like Ray Google. You get it. It will mess you up until you feel drawn enough to it to put it on, and that's when you can never escape. If you notice it's messing with you though, with your mind, you can get rid of it, but that's really rare. If you put the mask on, like I said, it will slowly kill you and your soul will be trapped in a very scary place, like a very scary dimension forever. Okay, so the legend of Hanako-san has been around since forever. I'm not sure when. I think it dates back to the 40s or 50s. And children in Japan are terrified to even mention her name when they're in the bathroom. Even though you have to like follow these rules or whatever to summon her, which I did. Well, not really. Like I should have done that in a restroom, a public restroom, which I did not, so yeah. So legend has it, if you go to a public restroom and say, Hanako-san, would you like to play 3 times? She will appear to you. It has to be a public restroom. I've seen some people do it in, like at their house, so that's why I did it as well. But I think for it to really work, if you believe in that kind of stuff, it has to be a public restroom. And it has to be the 3rd stall, and the restroom has to be on the 3rd floor as well. So you go to the 3rd stall, you knock on the door, and you say, Hanako-san, asobimashou. And if you succeed, you're gonna hear a voice, like a creepy voice. They say it's creepy, I don't know. Say, hi, which means yes in Japanese. So yeah, they say it only works if you said in Japanese, but I don't know, because she's from Japan, her ghost's from Japan. So if you succeed and you hear hi, you open the door and she's gonna be there in the toilet waiting for you. And her face, all disfigured, she's gonna be in the red skirt, and it's just like, I don't know, it's creepy. The thing is, nobody really knows what she does to you. Some people think she's gonna drag you to hell or drown you in the toilet, and just like, I don't know. Nobody really knows, but I wouldn't want to bump into her, honestly. I'm gonna summon her, like at a public room after all this craziness is over. Ew, my face. So, like, Hanako-san's kind of like Bloody Mary. Kids do that at school or just like anywhere. They summon her and like at sleepover parties and stuff. She's just like Bloody Mary. And the blonde in the bathroom, the legend from Brazil, which I also have a video on. I love how I'm promoting my videos. Oh my god. Okay, so people believe that during the World War II period, this girl, she was just like playing hide and seek with her friends when the bomb killed everybody, which is very sad. And she was hiding, they say she was hiding in the 3rd stall. So yeah, like she was hiding in the bathroom in the 3rd stall. That's very sad. And that's only like one of the versions. As you know, there are a lot of versions to legends, like every single urban legend. Like they have 1,000 versions, well not 1,000, but you know what I mean. So the other version, the one I know, I only know 2 I think, is that she was being bullied and she was hiding from the girls in the bathroom, like in the 3rd stall, and then she slipped and fell and hit her head and died, which again, it's just like the story from the blonde in the bathroom. I think that's how it goes, I'm pretty sure. And she became this thing, this Onryu ghost, which is a vengeful ghost, and they have like nothing but blood and murder on their minds. So maybe she kills you if she sees you, like if you summon her. I don't know, nobody knows, but yeah. If she's an Onryu ghost, she definitely kills whoever summons her. She didn't kill me, so. Can you imagine you just try to summon her at a public restroom and then you hear a voice saying, hi. And this YouTuber I used to watch, she said that she heard her voice when she summoned this ghost, in Japan. She lives in Japan, like she makes a lot of stuff. And she said she tried to summon Hanako-san, just like for fun. That's why she's scared of this stuff to this day. And then she heard the voice say, hi, a little girl's voice. Yeah. Okay, so it is said that you can read this poem like with your mind if you don't say it out loud. And I did a couple of years ago, and I felt weird the whole entire time I was reading it. Like in my mind, I wasn't even saying it, and I felt so freaking like nauseous. I don't even know how to explain, but I just wanted to stop. And I don't think I read the whole thing. I couldn't go through with it. I don't remember, but I think I didn't read the whole thing. Because like I said, it felt super weird. Something's not right about that, which is why I think it's cursed. But yeah, it is said that this poem is so haunted that it can not only bring bad luck, but actually kill. Would you dare read this poem? People who read this claim they start feeling weird, dizzy, nauseous, like I did. But I'm talking about people who like read it out loud. Maybe what I felt was all in my head. I really don't think so. I'm just being like mundane here. But this poem is said, like I said, to kill people. I think only if you read it in Japanese though. I didn't read it in Japanese, but yeah, my friend didn't either. But she did it out loud. I don't know if she has this video still, but yeah, she had a bunch of like bad luck come her way right after she read this. Isn't that strange? So the poem is all about this little girl in hell. Throw up. I mean, I'm talking about things that like were proven. It has made people kind of like pass out, and just a bunch of weird things happen to them. The worst being death, of course. I mean, we don't know that for sure, but people who said they were gonna read this poem, like on articles and stuff, they never went back to the thing to say what happened. And people were like, what happened? What happened? Did you do it? Did you do it? But they never went back. And that's very scary. Like, were they trying to scare everybody? But that wasn't just one person, that was a lot of people. So, you know. So, I don't know if this is true, but they say that the guy who wrote this, he had this girl come to him in a dream and tell him all about hell. That's how he came up with the idea. Now, my question is, do you think that really was someone who was in hell? Because if that's true, no wonder the poem's haunted AF. And I believe that, like, things and people from other dimensions, they can, like, contact you when you're asleep. Because you're in another realm, you know? The veil is lifted when you go to sleep. The veil between this world, the 3D world, and like other worlds. So yeah, if that girl really was in hell, the one that appeared to him in a dream, then no wonder the poem's haunted AF, man. Because you're not supposed to know what happens down there, I don't think. So this urban legend is called Hikiko-san, as you can probably tell by the title. And it is all about this girl who was very mistreated by her parents. They would physically and mentally abuse her. It got so bad to the point where they messed up her face. And she was never at peace, because when she would go to school, she would be bullied because of her appearance. Because she was like completely deformed due to her parents beating her over and over every day, which is so sad. So her classmates, they would just bully her, make fun of her. They were just like really mean. She had nowhere to go. She couldn't go to school, she couldn't go home. It was a living hell, which unfortunately led her to take her own life. But this is only one of the versions. As you know, every urban legend has at least 2 versions. So in the other version, they actually say that her dad killed her. So yeah. Either way, she became an audio spirit. Onryo. I don't know, but this thing, which I'm gonna make a video on if I haven't. So yeah, stay tuned for that. So basically, to summarize it, an Narnia spirit, they're like ghosts of people who had a traumatic death, and they kind of become, I don't know, they just want revenge and blood. That's all they think about. So it doesn't matter if you're a good person or a bad person. It doesn't matter to them, because all they think about is like killing. That's basically what an audio spirit is. They're like so angry, and they only get angrier as the days pass. When she was alive, she was a very quiet girl, and she would try to hide her face with her hair, which is why people say that this whole story, this whole urban legend, it actually inspired the movie Ringo, aka The Ring. Or is it Ring? I think The Ring. I don't remember. I don't know if it's The Ring or Ring, but the original version is Ringo, and she's actually Sadako, aka Samara Morgan. So yeah, she appears to people with her hair is on her face, all her hair's on her face, in some versions of course, and she's wearing like a white gown, which is typical With Arnia ghost, after her death, she started haunting every single person who made her life a living hell. They were just shocked and terrified when they saw her back from the grave, haunting them. They knew she wanted blood. She wanted revenge. It is sad that you're more likely to see her on rainy days. She does not care if you're a good person or not. She will kill you either way. What's creepy too is that she will drag her victims around like really fast, which will make them get skinned alive. Yikes. She's a very, very angry ghost. They're all angry. It is sad that in Japan, everybody's terrified of this chick, especially at schools. It is sad that one of her classmates actually saw her dragging a body around, but she didn't see him. So he went to the cops, he told the cops, and they didn't believe him, of course. And on that same night, the boy went missing, and he was never found ever again. And that is believed that she's the one who killed him. Like I said, she went after each and every single one of them. She killed them one by one. She dragged their bodies around until they were skinned alive, one by one. And then after that, she decapitated them and covered the walls of the school with their blood. And from that day, anybody who would enter the school at night, they would suffer the same fate. It didn't matter who it was, which led them to close down the school. And to this very day, it is believed her spirit still haunts the place, and nobody dares set foot in that school because they believe she's just there waiting for the next victim. So this scary legend from Japan talks about a man who fell in love with the wrong woman. As the legend goes, the samurai saw this beautiful young woman on a hot summer night, just holding a lantern as she walked down the street. His name was Agiwara, by the way. So he saw this beautiful woman on a summer night, just minding her own business. He decided to approach her, and they instantly fell in love. He spent many nights with this mysterious woman. They would meet at his place every single night. So Agiwara had this neighbor who was really nosy, and he noticed that he was in love. He knew he was seeing the woman every single night, and he just got curious because, like I said, he was very nosy. So he was like, okay, I gotta see who this is. He tried and tried, but he never got a glimpse of her. However, one night, he finally got a glimpse of her. He silently peeked into his window and was horrified by what he saw. Guys, Agiwara, I cannot pronounce his name, but this dude was freaking holding a skeleton with hair. The neighbor was terrified. He was like, what the hell is this? So he just ran back to his house. He was kind of on edge. I mean, he freaked out. Obviously, he wouldn't be. And on the next day, he told the samurai, Agiwara, what he had seen. And at first, the guy just thought he was old and seeing things. But then he started to think about it and kind of believed him. So he put charms all around his house. He was trying to protect himself from this woman who was apparently dead. A corpse, a skeleton, visiting him every single night. And he invited her in, you know what I mean? That's really freaky. So because he already invited her in, she could just show up whenever. The house was really protected though. So one night, this woman sang to him, and I believe it kind of hypnotized him. He was unable to resist her voice, so she couldn't go in, but he went outside. He followed her voice and disappeared into the night. She led him to a house in an old temple, and then to a grave in the same temple. And on the next day, he found Agiwara dead, hugging a skeleton. Anyway, I'm a huge believer in other dimensions, different planes, different realms. I think that's really interesting and I absolutely love talking about it. So I was really excited to learn about this village. So to get to this village, there's a tunnel called Inunaki. I believe that's how you pronounce it. But this tunnel right here, and that tunnel alone is said to be extremely haunted. People are terrified of it because it is said that a lot of bad things happen there. And you know, I always say this, but energy is so real. Even if you're like still alive and you didn't die, but you've lived in a place for so long where you were so unhappy, that energy is gonna stay in that place unless someone cleanses it. So people sometimes might think the place is haunted or whatever. But anyway, a lot of things happen in that tunnel, which created this huge evil energy, which is supposedly forever attached to this place. So people have been killed there, tortured, and all sorts of bad things, horrifying things happen there. I'm not gonna get into details, but a lot of car accidents too. And there's a lot of reports of scary stories, haunting stories, and the reports are never ending. This is considered to be the most dangerous place in that area, and people refuse to go near it. So anyway, as the legend goes, many people actually lost their lives during the construction. And for whatever reason, people actually believe that the bodies of these people, these workers, were actually buried within the walls. So I'm not sure why people think that, but yeah, this is too creepy, and it is believed that their spirits are so mad that they're still haunting the tunnel to this day, and this is actually what started the hauntings, the ghost stories and all that. So the location is mostly famous because of a gruesome murder that took place there in the 80s. Like I said, I'm not gonna go into details. I don't like hearing about this stuff. I don't like talking about this stuff. So I always skip the details if I can. It's just very graphic and it involves torture and a fire. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So now it is believed that once you go through that tunnel, if you put up with everything you're gonna feel, you're gonna see, you're gonna hear, and you make it to the end of the tunnel, there's supposedly a village there. So because of all the accidents, all the ghost stories, and people just going absolutely insane over this tunnel, they had to seal the tunnel with concrete blocks because it had become a very dangerous spot, like I said, and of course because of all the vandalism. But the legend says that all who enter the village are doomed to a violent death. And people who walk by will hear faint, ghostly screams, dogs barking when there's no dogs around. And those could definitely be hellhounds. I know I always say this, but yeah, why are people hearing dogs? What was that? But yeah, why are people hearing dogs there? It doesn't make any sense. Every time there's like a haunted place, I notice that. People always talk about like dogs barking when there's no dogs around. And I think that's really interesting because I feel like the place is somehow connected to hell. That makes any sense to you? Or it's like a portal somehow to an evil realm? I don't know. It's just my thoughts. And electronic devices will also act up if you're near that place, which is so interesting. Could it be because it's a portal? Could it be because it's a portal to hell? Could be. I don't know. What do you think? It makes sense. Like, why, if you're near a portal to the other side, to hell or whatever, you wouldn't be able to text, to call anyone, you know what I mean? I don't know. Only God knows what this place is. I would definitely not go there. And it is considered, the tunnel is considered to be one of the most haunted spots in the country, and it is also known as the Howling Dog Tunnel. Like I said, I think it's so interesting how Japan has so many cool urban legends and stories, and most of them talk about portals and other dimensions and all of that. And like I said, I love stories like these. I just love Japan, man. Spiders, I just love them. L to the no. I know some people love spiders. Some are terrified of them. Me, for example, no thank you. I hate spiders. Stay the hell away from me. Now, what if I told you that there's an urban legend from Japan all about a human spider? So, as the legend goes, a samurai was walking down the street when he was approached by a beautiful woman. And even though she was absolutely gorgeous, this man could see through her glamour, her disguise, whatever you want to call it. I like to call it glamour. This woman was not human. She looked demonic even. So this samurai took his sword and tried to attack her. You could see what she really looked like. He was freaked out. However, she quickly moved, but not before his sword kind of injured her a little. Well, maybe a lot, because she ran away and left a trail of blood, which he followed. So the blood actually led him to an old abandoned house. He went inside and was absolutely disgusted by what he saw. Anyone would be, obviously. The house had dozens of dead bodies bound in spider silk. And right next to these bodies, a giant spider that was half spider and half human, a woman. This woman even had the eyes right here on her forehead. I would have freaked out, had a heart attack, whatever. This hideous thing was just dead on the floor. The Joragumo's main target are actually men. She'll seduce them, bring them to her lair, and kill them. The Joragumos usually start out by eating bugs, insects, whatever else. And then as they get older, they become more and more evil and start eating humans. They'll eat anyone but men, especially. Like I said, it's their main target. These creatures can be found in Japan in abandoned houses, in small towns, of course, or in the forest, but usually they're only seen in Japan, according to the legend, of course. I'm not saying this is true. These things are very smart. They're cold-blooded killers. Although the one from this story wasn't really that smart. Well, she didn't expect the dude to see right through her. She really looked like, these things have a liquid, kind of like a venom inside them, and this venom will paralyze their victims, making it absolutely impossible for them to escape. That's scary. That's terrifying. In my opinion, this has got to be one of the scariest legends from Japan. I know it doesn't sound that scary. It's just because I always say this, but I freak out over tiny little bugs, Just imagine a giant spider. Oh my god. Or any other bug. That would honestly be worse than the apocalypse, not gonna lie. So Lily-san is apparently a very popular urban legend in Japan, though I've never heard of it before, like I said. And it's all about this haunted mirror at a school bathroom. It's pretty similar to Bloody Mary, though it appears as though it's only this specific mirror in this specific school. I don't know the name of the place. Anyways, as the legend goes, if you say, "Lily-san, please come out," 3 times, then the ghostly figure of a girl will slowly appear in the mirror. Now, as the story goes, Lily-san was a girl who unfortunately could not escape a fire that happened in her school. So she was burned alive. Somehow her spirit got trapped in that mirror. Maybe she was in there hiding or something, I don't know. It's just what I think. But her spirit got trapped in that mirror. So to this very day, Lily-san seeks revenge on those who dare disturb her peace. She's described as a ghostly figure of a girl with scars on her face and bandages all over her body. Whenever she's around, the room will just get really, really hot, miserably hot. And the creepy thing is that it will also smell as though something's burning. So Lily-san is said to either drag you to the mirror realm with her or simply scare the hell out of you. And that's it. To be honest, that's a bit creepier than Bloody Mary in my opinion. The Ring is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. I know it's probably not as scary these days, but the idea of watching something that will bring on your demise days after watching it is absolutely terrifying. Everything about that movie, from the ghost to the actual tape to the atmosphere, everything. The Ring is truly one of the greatest horror movies ever made.
I'm really excited to talk about the story that actually inspired the movie. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already for spooky videos every week. Now let's talk about this scary legend, this story. Now, as the story goes, a woman named Okiko, she was a servant of a samurai. This woman found out that her master was planning on killing the man she really liked. And of course, she was just one of those people who were at the wrong place at the wrong time. She was not supposed to overhear that conversation. It didn't end well. She knew too much, so they had to get rid of her. She was then accused of stealing one of the 10 valuable plates owned by her master. So they threw her into a well. In the afterlife, of course, all she wanted was revenge. She became an audio ghost. And as you know, audio ghosts only get angrier and angrier with time. It is said that she would crawl out of the well every single night and haunt the samurai. She did that until he went mad. Every night he could hear her crawling and crying super loud. And that's when he knew she was coming. This is not the only version, of course. Some will say that the samurai was actually in love with her, but since he was married, she kept on rejecting him every single time he would make a move. He was obsessed with her though, so he did not give up. He then hid or broke one of the 10 valuable plates, and of course, accused her of doing so, in hopes that she would just give in and become his mistress. She then threw herself down the well to get away from him. What a disgusting man, honestly. She would rather do that than be with him. Now, each and every single night after her death, Okiko's voice was heard coming from the well, counting from 1 to 9. And apparently this had something to do with the plates. It was 10 very valuable plates, and he broke or hid one to incriminate her. So Okiko would count from 1 to 9, and then she would let out a ghostly wail and cry. That drove the samurai insane. Imagine hearing that every single night. Must be creepy as hell. Now, it is said that anyone who's by that well and hears a voice counting from 1 to 9 will die within 9 days. Some will even say this curse applies to any well in Japan. Come to think of it, it doesn't really sound like she's an audio ghost. I mean, her spirit is not violent at all. So yeah, I take back what I said. She ain't no audio ghost. Do you guys know about audio ghosts, by the way? I think I have a video about that. If I do, it's gonna be right here. I'm gonna make an updated one, of course. Now, this is the well right here. Okiko's well at Himeji Castle. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. This place is actually said to be one of the most beautiful castles left in the country. And this tale is very much popular. And of course, has many other versions. This urban legend is from Japan, and it talks about a woman or a man named Hasumi. Now, honestly, I did not find any information that reveals if it's a man or woman. In fact, at first, this was an anonymous post, and I'm talking about the original post. So Hasumi was on a train on the way home, the late night train. She was on the way home from work when she finds herself at a unknown station, and the station was called Kisaragi Station. She had never heard of this before. So Hasumi finds herself in this strange, mysterious place. She notices no one is around, which is very odd, but I mean, it was kind of late. So what she does is she decides to post about it on a Japanese forum called Nichan. And that's pretty much an online bulletin board, pretty much like Facebook forums and all of that, Facebook groups, whatever. So basically, she's reporting live from the Kisaragi station. It's really spooky, I'm telling you guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try not to leave anything out, because to be honest, it's a pretty long post, and I read this late at night. So I put together like important points of the story. I'm gonna be reading some of it, of course, and I'm gonna tell you the whole story in my own way, but I highly suggest you go check it out for yourself so you can get the full-on spooky experience. Make sure to do it at night too. Now let's begin. If I'm looking down, it's because I'm reading this whole thing from my computer. So yeah. Hasumi posts, It might be just my imagination, but do you mind if I talk about something? She posted this on the Nichan website. So some people responded to her post. They're like, sure, go ahead. Hasumi, I just got on the train, but something is off. Hasumi posts. And they were like, okay, it's not the train. I always take it to and from work, but it has not stopped at any station for about 20 minutes now. It always stops every 5 minutes, sometimes 7 or 8, but it hasn't stopped at all. She proceeds, and there are 5 other people on board, but they're all asleep. Let me move my computer over here. Oh, that's much better. So then the other users are like, you haven't gotten off the train yet, have you? You didn't get on the express by mistake? So then Hasumi says, yes, like you said, it is possible that I got on the wrong train. I waited out just a little longer, and if anything else strange happens, I will come back. And they were like, first of all, why don't you go to the front carriage and see the conductor? If something happened to him, maybe, that would be terrible. Go check on him. So then Hasumi responds, it still doesn't look like we're going to stop anywhere. So I'll go have a look. However, she said that the blinds were covering the window and she could absolutely not see the driver. So then they asked, did you knock on the window? And she said, yes, I did. But there was no answer. Girl, who is driving you? So then they asked if she could see outside to see the names of passing stations and such. So she said that after leaving the tunnel, the train started to slow down. And she also said that her train, the one she takes every single day, doesn't usually go through a tunnel. But it looked like it was about to stop. So another user asked her, you're not gonna get off, are you? So that's when she told them that they were finally at a station, and the name of the station was Kisaragi. However, she was wondering whether to get off or not, of course, because she had never heard of the station before. And some people were like, yes, you should get off, while others said that she should wait. So Hasumi then said, I got off. The station is empty. I got on the train at around 11:40 p.m. because they had asked her. So anyways, all the users that were following her post and talking to her, they decided to look up the name of the station, but none of them found anything about it. Almost as if it didn't even exist. So then she was like, well, maybe I should go back to the train. It's still here. I think that would be the safer thing to do. So they were all very, very intrigued by this, and they were also trying to help her figure out what the heck was going on. So then they asked, are there any buildings nearby that look like they might have people? It's so cold out there, be careful. But she decided to leave the station and see if she could find a cab. And again, some of them agreed with her, while others said it would be hard for her to find one, which was the case, by the way, because she couldn't find a single cab. It was pretty late. So Hasumi started freaking out. Of course she would. She was all alone and it was late at night. So these users told her to go look for a station attendant or perhaps a police box, anything. Others said she should call 110, which I'm assuming that number is like an emergency number, like 911. I don't know. If you know, drop a comment down below, please. But yeah, all these people were talking to her on her post. So that's when Hasumi decided to call her parents, finally, and ask if they could pick her up. But they had no idea where she was. They had never heard of the station either, so I'll be freaking the hell out. So they said they were going to try and find it on the map and then go get her. So Hasumi stated that she was starting to get scared. So they asked, what happened to the others on the train? Were you the only one who got off? And she said the other passengers didn't get off. She was the only one out there. So anyways, some users were still talking to each other in the comments. So that's when one of them said they did some research. And guess what? They found out that Oni, which translates to demon, can also be read as Kisaragi. So Kisaragi Station can very much mean demon station. How terrifying is that? They of course took it as a joke. and they didn't even think much of it, but they kept on trying to help her. Some of them suggested that she should track her steps back home and perhaps she would find her parents on the way, but it wasn't easy. You see, there was nothing around, no one around. It was as if all that existed in that one moment was that damn station. And it's also risky, of course, to go out like that at night by yourself. And if I'm not mistaken, in the post, they mentioned something about the whole place being pretty dark. Not the station, but like, if you're trying to see if there's anything around, you know, you can't, because it's super duper dark. So I'm assuming there were no street lights either. Yes. So some of them, of course, said she'd be safer at the station, and that's when Hasumi got a call from her father, and he had a lot of questions. But in the end, they had no idea where she was. So he told her she should call 110, and she didn't really want to do that. I don't know why. So the users had a bunch of questions too. They asked, could you really wait there all alone at night on some strange, unfamiliar railway track? Could you pass through the tunnel all alone at night on some strange, unfamiliar railway track? Could you keep walking on some unfamiliar street at night in the cold? Hasumi, of course, did not know what to do. She was scared. She also wanted to get the hell out of there. But staying or going was pretty damn scary. This story's giving me anxiety. So she called the police, and they thought that her call was some sort of joke. And they got mad at her. So she ended up apologizing. Like, what? Girl, you are lost and in danger. Why are you apologizing? So like I said in the beginning, this is a very, very long post. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It's already super long. But to summarize this whole thing, Hasumi was actually in another dimension. She saw creatures that were obviously not of this world. She ran and ran until she just couldn't anymore. The Kisaragi station is pretty much another dimension, and you do not want to end up there, ever. Some people in Japan are actually terrified of this. Why? Well, because they believe it's true. And there are actually many stories about people who found themselves in the Kisaragi station, usually when they fell asleep or whatever, and usually at night. This is super scary. I do not know what I would do in that situation. It's giving the vibe of you waking up one day and realizing you're all alone on this planet. This whole legend about the Kisaragi station is actually giving me the elevator game vibes. I don't know why. I think it's because it's supposed to be another dimension. Just imagine you're in Japan, excited to go back home from work or whatever. You're just on a train home and you find yourself in this mysterious station and there's nobody.
Would you like blue or red paper? Choose wisely.
Akamanto, or Red Cloak, is a male spirit that haunts public restrooms, and he's clearly up to no good. You do not want to bump into this thing ever. Now picture this. You're out with your friends, family, whatever. You're having fun, but nature calls, of course. So you excuse yourself and walk into the restroom. You notice there's no one else there but you. You then go to the last stall. Perhaps because it's the cleanest, whatever, it doesn't matter. You go to the last stall. So you're in the bathroom and you notice someone else just walked in. Perhaps they were there the whole time, but you didn't even notice. You can't really see this person very well, but they appear to be wearing a red cloak and a mask. How odd. If you look closely, you also notice that their eyes are pitch black. They then approach your stall and talk to you. You're already pretty creeped out by this point, of course, especially because it's a man and you're in the ladies' room. This man then asks you this strangest question. Would you like blue paper or red paper? Now, if you say you want red, you die in such a brutal way. He'll either slit your throats or whatever else. Some people say that you actually cut off your head or rip off your head. Whew. Regardless, you die a bloody death. That's so brutal. You have blood all over you, all over the stall. If you choose blue, however, then the spirit will strangle you
until your body turns blue. And if you try and trick the spirit by asking for a different color paper, then it is believed he will drag you down to hell. However, if you choose to ignore the spirit, sometimes you'll just go away. However, if you try and run away, most of the time he's just gonna block the exit. And God knows what he does next. I'm thinking he'll just drag you to hell. In other versions, instead of toilet paper, the spirit actually asks if you want a red cloak or a blue cloak. The rest, well, it's pretty much the same, kinda. Some versions say that it's actually a female spirit that haunts male bathrooms and male public restrooms, but that one is not very well known. It's usually a male spirit. At least that's the most popular version anyway. Sometimes the spirit is already inside the stall. In the last stall, of course. Just waiting for his next victim. Before you even use the toilet, as soon as you walk in, you'll hear his voice asking you if you want blue paper or red paper, or blue cloak or red cloak, whatever. But I think that's the easiest way for you to escape because you're already close to the exit anyway, so you can just run for your life. Honestly guys, what is up with Japan and all the creepy bathroom ghosts and stories and legends? Love that. Have you guys ever heard of this before? I don't think I've ever made a video about it. Definitely let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video with a friend who likes spooky things. And I'll see you in my next video. Doodles! Bye.